Good morning, everybody. This is the weekly healing messages for August 7th through the 14th. I am Lady Stars and Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa. Wow, lunar eclipse, huh? We're already there. And the full moon is in Aquarius this week. There is so much going on this week, and actually that's not the only high point. The lunar eclipse and the full moon being in Aquarius. Mercury is also going retrograde, and that is bringing in all kinds of healing medicine in the most funky ways. That's the best way I know how to put it. I always call it the healing messages if you never watch the video, because that's what I ask for. I ask for Spirit to give me guidance and counsel throughout the week to help me give you the healing messages for the next week. So I'm always working a week ahead of what's actually going on with Spirit. And I ask them to give us whatever will help us heal our way into a more positive, healthier life. And all I can say about this week is, you know that solar eclipse is coming in 2 weeks. That solar eclipse is going to be on a new moon, new beginnings. And it's going to be on the 21st. And technically it's going to be hitting in a void, of course, of Leo and Virgo. Now let me help you break down that. And the reason I'm going 2 weeks ahead is because that's going to help you understand what these 2 weeks are going to do to you, okay? Because with that new moon taking place during that solar eclipse, in the void, of course, of Leo and of Virgo, this means the Lion and the Virgin are coming together, which in a different form, the best way I know how to put it, and my girlfriend said it to me today, this morning before I came out here, and it's perfect, and it's really a little bit harsh, but in like a face-off way, meaning facing yourself in all levels of what yourself is, so that you can come into that rejuvenation of that authentic self that you are creating to finally have been lifted by that new moon. And what I mean by that is, for the next 2 weeks, you are going to be feeling the rising of your own personal human lie detector. Facing yourself, because Mercury just went retrograde. Like I said, this is the rising of your own personal lie detector. You can't lie to yourself anymore, or anybody else, and you're going to see through everybody else's shit, basically, as well as your own, which is going to make you feel a little bit like, I like to say a lot of times that Gemini is like Jekyll and Hyde, because it's the messaging system, but it sees both sides, and or the mad scientist, so to speak, in the sense of, let me mix everything and see what really truly comes out. So it's like the face-off, the true face-off of both sides. So it's like seeing your soulful side for everything that's good about it, and your evil ego side that's coming out. And it's going to be kind of like walking both of them, I guess, down an aisle, walking with both of them with like your angel and your devil on your shoulder at the same time. And it's a good thing, and it's going to help you move into truly finding the parts you're not letting out or getting rid of. Cleaning out, healing of your ego side. Because that's going to bring out that authentic self in a truer, stronger form. But you're going to be feeling that over the next 2 weeks. However, we are talking about this week. Again, this is August 7th through the 14th. You've got Mercury going retrograde, you've got the lunar eclipse, and you've got full moon in Aquarius. Now, before I get into the astrology, I'm going to get into what Spirit gave me, like I always do. I usually start off with Spirit. And I do have runes this week. If I have time, I will go over them, but I don't want to make the video go so crazy long. So if I don't have time, I'm letting you know the runes for this week is Dagaz, it is Iwaz, it is Lagus, and it is Alges. There are 4 runes this week, and it makes perfect sense because we are talking about all 4 elements we are of ourself coming forth and having to be evaluated. Like I said, we're evaluating our true perspective of what our authentic self is and what it is we're not accepting, so that we can truly become that authentic self and move into our life in a more positive way. Now, when I first look at astrology and then I listen to what Spirit gives me, all I feel like I am getting is like Jupiter is feeding the lion, and lion is the Leo. I'm a Leo. So you Leos, are you incredibly sensitive people? This may be one of those weeks, like I said, where you're like, just what Spirit keeps telling me is the more you work at letting go, the less you try to have control, and the more you just and find your zen and let the universe do what the universe's job is to do, the more this will become easy for you. But the more you're fighting yourself and trying to be in control and holding on to that narcissistic side, because we all have it in us. Even if we're not narcissistic people, we all have that selfish side, that self-centered side that rises from time to time. And when we're getting in that area and we're fighting ourselves or our soul, the best thing we can do right now is surrender and let it go. Not meaning like surrender and let people walk all over you, but surrender to the higher power, so to speak, to the powers that be, so to speak, to God, the creator, so to speak, or the gods, depending on how you see it. The point is, don't try to be God this week, because that won't work out well for you. If you're trying to be the one that's in the almighty control of your life, sometimes you just got to step back and let it work itself out, and know that if you love yourself and you calm down, it's going to work out. And that's why I say Jupiter is feeding the lion, and the lion is a great thing if you're not full of ego at the moment. Now, I am being told that the elements are coming together: earth, air, wind, fire, northeast, west, south, as far as directions and what they mean. The elements are coming together, and they are, in a strange way, working really actually together, even though it may not always feel like it this week, is what I'm being told. But I am being told this is forcing about those changes that are going to happen, as well as the growth that will happen. So this is why it's important to I'm being told more of let go than surrender, but I know the surrender is more of just stop trying to hold on to what you can't control, basically. And I am being reminded for your own benefit of remembering as you're dealing with this. This is jumping back to astrology just for a minute, but I am being reminded by Spirit, for those who do follow astrology a little bit more, is do not forget there is actually, as of on the 12th, when Mercury goes retrograde, there is actually 6 in retrograde, 6 planets, so to speak, like I said. And that will be Mercury, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron are all in retrograde. And it's important that they're in retrograde right now, because that's part of what's going to be creating that energy that's going on between these 2 eclipses, for that healing to take place, for that rejuvenation to take place, for the kick down the door and we're making these changes to take place. I am also given this is very much, we're in this time period, this 2 weeks time period, is definitely not just about changes, but it's the end of a period and the beginning of a new. End of discussion. It's either you're starting that new period already, or you're ending that period and about to start the beginning. And it's like the ending and the beginning. But what they're reminding me is the cycle. The circle itself never stops spinning. The circle itself never stops spinning. So even though one thing is ending, something new is beginning. And you've got to let that go so that you can jump on board with the new and start that new cycle. Everything always picks up again. Just like they show you, you see pictures of where Earth has taken back over. When something has been left alone, like a home out in the woods for too long, and, you know, the ivy takes it back over. Basically, everything comes back around. Everything regrows. Everything restarts up. And you need to remember that this week. It's just the beginning of a new cycle. It's not the end of the world. Basically, it's what they're saying. And I am being given the symbol of pi. Now, if you've been following me for a while, then you may have heard me talk about pi before. And if not, then this is the first time you're hearing it. But at the beginning of this year, when this year started, 2017, I was told by Spirit, this is like the year of pi. Pi is full of energy throughout this year. Now, pi is never ending, like the cycle of life. Okay? It's just numerical. It's a never ending. It's a secret in mathematics. It never ends. It never ends, basically. And it is every possible combination is already figured out or possible for to come into existence. Basically, this is what pi basically stands for in the ways of numbers. Now, let's remember, numbers speak to us on the angelic realm. And as I was walking out here, because I had just posted it on Facebook, as I was walking out here to make this video, I was given 888. And I posted information about that right before I walked out here to do that. But, like I said, I was given pi. I was given the symbol of pi, which speaks to us of that numeric energy, as well as your angels are speaking to you in that information, as well as it's a possible combination of anything can happen. Everything is a new beginning. It's always a regeneration of a cycle that's continuously going. In the Kabbalah, pi is what they consider to be how God creates the world. It is also a chi. It is also viewed as chi, as what is considered living, life itself. Okay, this is what I'm telling you. This week is all about creating that life, the ending of the one and creating of the new. It's the never-ending cycle. It's pi, basically, and everything's already figured out, is what they're saying. So stop stressing, stop having the anxiety, let go, and go with the flow. And know that your higher power, the powers that be, God, the Creator, however it is you want to see it, man, they got this. All right? And know that if you just it'll come out so much easier for you. Stop fighting the fear of the not knowing and the anxiety, is what I'm being told. And I'm also being reminded, though, that pi also basically is the same symbol, pretty much, in as the letter, and I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, so all of you who follow Hebrew or know how to speak Hebrew, I apologize, but I know that I'm saying it wrong, would be Chet, C-H-E-T, in Hebrew. And I'm being directed back to the fact that it speaks to us of the gateway, or the door, the power to enter a higher energy, to exist within that new higher energy, as well as to exit the lower energy. This is the door, the gateway is open within these 2 weeks. This is where the Chet, or the Hebrew for how you pronounce that, the pi symbol is coming into play from the numbers from our angels. This is what I'm being sent to direct to you in the healing messages today. It also speaks to us of the ascent of worlds itself, or your realms, so to speak. The power to enter the mysteries of your own soul and to bring back the lessons of that consciousness. It is God having, it is also thought of God having, God hovering over us and doing His very magic. I say this to shamans all the time when I have friends that are also shamans, and it's one of those things, shamans got to go to another shaman to figure out what it is that they're not getting. And I say it all the time to my friends, as well as I have to be reminded myself, because we want to help other people. We love so deeply. Our empath is so strong. We end up getting involved, and we get wired into that situation, and we want to help. But we got to remember, who the hell told us to play God? That's what this week is about. This week is about loving yourself, coming into life again, coming into knowing who you truly are, and learning how to let go of what isn't serving you. That's what these 2 eclipses are about. And like I said, you're going to be feeling the rising of your own human lie detector within yourself. And that's what you're going to be coming into. This surrender and let go and feel your way through it with love. But that don't mean that you're not going to have your battles with ego or shadow, so to speak. But that's what I'm being told this week really is about. I'm also being shown, and this speaks to us of grounding ourselves, but not just grounding ourselves. It speaks to us of the outgoing energy of what we are putting out there. The karma we're creating as well. Because what I'm seeing is the ground around me is moving like water. Which means where we walk, we're going to create a ripple effect. Just like I said before, if you throw a stone out into the water, you get the ripple. Well, if the ground is the way that they're showing me it, is the water, and we're stepping on it, and we're not grounding ourselves well, we're walking through creating that ripple effect without any consciousness to what we're creating. And they're telling us to ground ourselves strong, but to also be aware the ripple effect is going on. That's the pie. So what you're putting out is also what will be coming back. You gotta, what is the ripple effect you're sending out? And they're making sure that we realize that, because like I said, I just see the earth itself just rippling like water. And I had said about 2 months back or something like that, that typically the water element has moved into the higher element for the year. It is the stronger element. It is the element of healing. It is also the element of getting deep inside of your soul, of yourself. And in order to do that, we've got to get deep inside of our soul. It's our physical and our emotional feelings. And the water element has taken the higher rank, is what I'm being told right now, while it's lifting those other elements up to its vibration for a healing all the way around. So that explains why I'm seeing the ground being water. What you're putting out is what you're putting out. Are you rippling out what you want to be rippling out, basically? Now, I'm also being given this week 2 animals, and for our spirit guide, for our spirit guides or power animals that we could look into. And I'm not going to go over them very much, other than to tell you, if you really want to know more about them and you don't know about them, Google them, please. I am being given a shadow animal, and I say it's shadow because it's not fully coming in as shadow, but it's coming in always at the side view, always not directly head on. Like, hey, are you noticing me over here? Because I'm trying to talk to you, but you're too stuck in your own way to notice that I'm talking to you. And this is why I say shadow animal, because it just really feels like it's coming in that way. But I'm saying it because I'm receiving it from synchronicity in the form of real life in the physical world. This is why it's not showing as a shadow, as dark shadow. It's always coming in from the sides, not dead on. And it makes perfect sense because we're talking about the ripple element. We're talking about the pi symbol and what it means in all of its different ways, because what I am being given is the shadow animal of the spider. Spider. She's the one who creates the almighty web. The web you weave. What are you weaving? Are you holding on to the past? Are you trying to live in the future? Why aren't you living in the now? Now is what she's speaking to us of. But she's speaking to us of our creativity. She's speaking to us of so much things. And she's saying, "What, you really need to be hearing me right now." The spider is speaking to us. So I am being given the sacred white buffalo. And the buffalo speaks to us of abundance, of a manifesting, as well as manifesting our very goals into life. Protection, female courage, our hospitality, our survival, and so much more. Because the buffalo is really seen as such a sacred animal in so many cultures. Now that I've given you all of that and what Spirit gave me, I'm finally ready to jump into astrology for this week. And again, I'll remind you, the runes for this week is Dagaz, Iwaz, Lagus, and Alges. That's just in case I don't have enough time to actually go over them. But if I don't, you can always check my Facebook page or Twitter or any place else that I have social media, because I will post information about that there. Now, this week, before I get into those major events, I'm just going to remind you what's going on throughout the week. The moon will be moving through Aquarius. Now, let's remember this. The moon is moving through Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, and it just went retrograde. Let me back you up to last week's information. This retrograde for Uranus is not just a regular retrograde. Uranus travels 7 years through a sign. It's in Aries, the very first sign, which is your persona. This is your independence, your freedom, your individuality, and your inventive self. Now is inward, talking to you about where you're lacking in those areas, where you're not being forthcoming with yourself, where you're not standing up for your freedom and truly going out so that you can enjoy life as you, your authentic self. Where are these not fully thriving? Okay? And it's in retrograde. Every 7 years it makes it through a sign. Well, you got 12 signs. This time it only has this one last time of retrograde to get it through your thick head what that message is for your first house, our universal first house of our persona. All of us are feeling that. For us to start our true next beginning. Okay? And I say that because it's not going to be back till Aquarius. Aquarius, it won't be back to Aries until another 79 to 85 years. Most of us will not be alive when it comes back to start the cycle again. Again, there's your circle in the cycle. The pi, again, coming back for us, as well as that ripple effect, that never-ending changing ability to find the possibility in the combination itself. The combination to create and have existing of what it is. Period. So, we've got Starting off the week, the moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. That's why I just explained that, or Uranus, to you. Because that's where your rebel comes out. That's where your ballsy side comes out. That's where I can take on City Hall all by myself comes out. That's where you're boldly willing to stand up and at the same time, no, nobody's going to change me. I'm going to live life by my terms. But we also have the South Node in Aquarius right now. So we've got to look at where we're starting to do that for too much of a cocky reason and not a soulful reason. That's the hidden lesson in this right now. Is our Aquarius energy, our moon Aquarius energy coming out during this eclipse and this full moon in soulfulness of that cocky rebel part of yourself, or for a good reason, or just because you're being cocky and truly deep down you think you're better than everybody else and you're a little bit of an ass. Basically, so we're evaluating the true reason. Is this coming out soulfully or egotistically? Okay, then we're moving that into Pisces. The moon moves into Pisces where you're in the water sign. You're in the water sign of the 12th house originally, as well as your secrets, your unconsciousness, your magic, and your intuition. Where all of that comes together. Where fantasy meets harsh reality. Basically, where you want to believe the great things in life, but sometimes because you do want to believe them, you truly aren't seeing the truth. And your emotional side is going to be hitting that during the middle of the week, through Wednesday through Friday. And then we end it going into Aries, where we start retrograde of Mercury. First house, universal starting of that new cycle. Everything is about the cycle this week. It's about the never-ending circle. And like I said, Mercury will go retrograde at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the 12th, which is Saturday, at the end of the week. In Virgo, again, which is all about our health, our healing, our work, and our own personal environment. So this is all about healing. This is all about healing through the lie detector of seeing the truth within ourselves. And Mercury's going to kick it at you for the next 2 weeks until that solar eclipse. Now, I'm being told, though, that that is also, like, it's meant to be like a counseling, healing for ourselves. And that's going to take place with a grand cross and 3 grand trines sitting on top of each other that day. However, let me back up to the challenges for this week, and then I'll walk over that actual day with us at the end of the week. At the end of the video. The challenges this week is Jupiter in Libra, which speaks to us of our partnerships, our relationships in general, is speaking to Capricorn with Pluto in our universal 10th house of social, community, and career. About the proper foundations and the changes that need to be made so the rebirthing can start. But like I said, Jupiter brings higher learning, higher knowledge, and a shit ton of abundance to this. This is a challenge. This is going to be making you uncomfortably notice it, because it's also going to be speaking. This energy is growing all week because those two are going to start speaking with Cancer, Venus, and Sirius. Venus is what's touchy, what's comfortable, what's not, what I like, what I don't. Venus doesn't just speak to us about love. I cannot say it enough times. Love is Juno. That's the sacrifice of what it takes to actually deal with love. Venus is our senses. What do we enjoy? What do we like? How do we go about getting what we enjoy and what we like? And how do we learn to stop getting hurt? That's where Venus is going to be touching. She's going to be giving you that touchy-feely energy this week in that challenge, because she's also sitting right on top of Sirius. Sirius is your karma. Ceres is too close to home. This is also our 4th house. This is our parents, our home, as well as our inner home. Okay? And it's in Cancer, which is the emotional moon water sign. Okay? You've got Jupiter speaking to Pluto in this water. All of this water. So it's going to be very sensitive, and it's going to be pushing it to what needs to be brought to light. Because that's what full moons do. And then as we're working through the eclipse, it's pushing out that lie detector that you can't get away from, that you need to see for these changes to be made. Now, that energy is going to be growing all week. Trust me. It's going to be just growing rapidly. Also, within the challenges this week, you've got Virgo and Mercury. You've got Virgo, which has Mercury and Vesta in it. Mercury and Vesta are sitting right on top of each other. At the end of the week, Mercury goes retrograde. We're still in shadow. So Mercury's still giving us those egotistical ideas right now, because it's in that turning before it completely turns inwardly for all the good, right reasons. It's picking apart shit right now. And it's sitting on top of Vista. Vista is your fire, your inner fire, your home and hearth of any and everything that's important to you and what it is that you are. Your inner personal fires. In that healing energy of our work in our environment. It is speaking to Neptune, which is our unconscious secrets and our magic and our intuition itself. It's in Pisces. It's in that universal 12th house, speaking to Neptune, which is in retrograde. Okay? So these two are not exactly getting along. They're going to be pushing out things for you to overcome. Then you've also got Saturn and Lilith, which is in your 9th house, which is talking to you about your philosophy, your spiritual nature, your religious beliefs, your beliefs in general. And they are speaking to both Neptune and Chiron, which are both in retrograde, as well as Saturn. So your rules, your boundaries, your rules and your boundaries, as well as Lilith's bold, you can't make me do anything, I will do as I damn well please, and I will stand in my own power about it, for the good or the bad. But you're not going to force me to do shit. That's what Lilith is. And your rules and your boundaries are unquestionable change within our philosophy, our spiritual natures, our religious beliefs. All of that is speaking to our very magic, where fantasy meets reality. Fantasy meets harsh reality, and Chiron, which is trying to hand you the keys to actually healing the soul, if you just listen. He's going to be bringing all of this energy up that you have to listen to and let go of. To let go of, so that you can move on and create from a good positive place to start this new cycle. But it's going to be showing you those things that for some reason you just can't seem to let that grip go of. Now, as we move into the positives, this is going to start feeling, this is where I said those elements are working together, even though they don't necessarily seem like they are. However, they're crossing each other. This is why it's, the positives are double positive in a form. But you're really going to notice those challenges, because people notice challenges as always more than we notice the good things. We can't help it. We focus on them. That's the pessimistic side that still hides within us. That's why we have ego. Okay? The positive is the North Node is in Leo. Like I said, Jupiter is fueling Leo this week. It just is. Jupiter is fueling the lion, which can be a great thing, or it can be a bad thing, depending on how you choose to behave and deal with your own self. Because the North Node is speaking to us about what we need to create for ourselves to move forward, to be able to enjoy life, to be the lion that enjoys, let me lay out in the sun and soak up the sun, as well as the creative side, the loving side, the compassionate side, but also the ruler of the kingdom. So it's service, but it's also being able to enjoy life while you're in service, doing it for all the good and right reasons, as long as you stay away from ego bullshit. And Leo is speaking to Aries, which is Uranus. Independence, individuality, and our freedom and our inventive selves, about how we're going to do this, how we're going to start this new cycle. And that is fire on fire. That's just burning through the Leo. Burning through the Leo with the courage, because Jupiter's fueling it. Okay? Even though it don't look like it, trust me, Jupiter is fueling it. Now, you've got Cancer, Vesta, and Mercury are speaking to Neptune in a positive way as well. And that's water on water. That's getting deep in yourself for all the magical right reasons, into what your fire truly is about and how to communicate past the shadow and be able to make it happen. Water on water. Then you've got, going back again to Leo, you've got the North Node, Mars, and the Sun are all communicating with Sagittarius, with Lilith and Saturn. This time, Lilith is talking to you of how can you have the balls to go out and create? How can you work with Saturn's about, let me change and change my rules and my boundaries on this, because this is what I want to do. And bring it into your sun, your core energy, as well as your action, your passion, your fire of Mars. And the node of being able to create it for the right reason. So this is so much positive energy. But like I said, those negatives are going to make you feel like this. And you are being told to let go. And don't try to do God's job. That's your biggest thing this week. Be like, some things are bigger than me, and I just gotta have faith that it knows what it is doing. That the manifestation is being manifested right. Manifestation is coming out right, and that I sent out the right ripple. Let me shut my pie hole and not be an egotistical bitch. Sometimes that's what we gotta do. You just gotta, you know, that's what this week's going to be carrying a lot of, so that you can let those right things come in. Now, on the 12th, which is Saturday, you have a grand cross on top of the three trines. The three trines have not changed. They're going to kind of stay there, other than Mars and the Sun will be gone, but it'll be the node that you're still talking to, I believe, all the way up to the end of the year, because it's speaking to Uranus, and it's speaking, I believe, to Saturn about changing these things and bringing that into life and having the courage to come into that authentic self. But it's three trines because of the way that they're just slightly shifted, even though they're not quite past 10 degrees apart. They are individually still doing it. So that's seriously amplifying that independence coming out. That Uranus talking to you. Like I said, you only got this last time to get this message, because it's not going to come back through Aries again. That first house, your persona, your core, for another 79 to 85 years. It's coming in high, and it's going to make you feel bold enough to come out and say what maybe you normally wouldn't say. And that's a good thing. But you've got the Grand Cross this week also. On the same day, Mercury goes retrograde, and it is Jupiter and Libra are speaking directly to the moon in Aries. The moon. The moon is our waters. It's what really matters. It's deep down what we carry with us, what we love. It's our touchy-feely. It's everything that's hidden underneath us. Okay? And it's speaking to your your universal core, your universal persona. Also about having that me first energy and about being able to step forward into what truly is important to you in here. Jupiter is speaking to that. It's magnifying it. It's bringing that abundance in. It's bringing that knowledge of what you need in. But those two are speaking to Cancer, Ceres, and Venus, which is also speaking to Pluto. All four of these are having a conversation. Pluto and Capricorn. So this is our relationships with ourselves as well as outwardly with anything that's important to us. Our home, our community, our careers. This is heading not below the belt, but it is heading dead on. All of these important aspects that is going on with us. It's speaking to us of what we're sensitive about, what we don't like, and what we're not going to have in our life anymore, and what we need to realize we're going to stand up for and not have in our life anymore, as well as it's going to be speaking to us of how we're going to do it, our emotional side for all the good reasons, and Pluto is speaking to us of how to change it. Such a great thing, even though it might be touchy-feely. And speaking directly across that grand cross is Vesta, Mercury, and Virgo, speaking to Neptune. That is speaking directly of how to bring that fire and that communication into Neptune's magic and force it into life. Like I said, you're coming into the true rising of your own human lie detector so that you can create, really, truly bring that authentic self out and have the life you always wanted to. If you can let go and surrender and be able to truly feel your way through it. I love you. Hugs and kisses, and I will see you all next week. Bye.